Cui is kind of that character that is going to be kind of a landmark sale. The fact that we're getting a character like Cui, a minor Frieza Goon character is still technically one of his elites. This is, something that's going to open the doors for a lot of obscure characters that I think a lot of us, want. I, for one, am trying to build a big Frieza army. So give me as many Frieza Goons as possible. But even if you don't necessarily want Cui, but there's another character that you want, another maybe more obscure character, if Cui fails in terms of sales, you might not get that. So remember that this whole line started with characters as important as Piccolo, but the reason why it expanded as much as it did is because we got characters like Raditz, and then we got Bardock. Do you want Bardock's whole team? I 100% would buy his entire team if they made it. Not the new ones, but the original OG from the Bardock movie. 100% I'd pick them all up. So we're gonna get more obscure characters like that because of sales successes like Cui. Maybe you've been wanting more Namekians from the Namek arc. I mean, they have like at least 6 warriors, and with Nail being 7. If they made all 7 of them, I would buy all 7 of them, and I feel many of us would. I've always wanted Namekian soldiers to be able to, put them down on the field and have them, do photography and videos for you guys where they're fighting the Frieza Goons. There's other minor characters that have scenes in the Namekian saga that I would love to get as well. Characters like Raspberry and Blueberry and Blurpleberry and all those characters, and even some other more obscure characters that are only from the anime, which are characters like Orlin, which was literally just from the anime dub that we got here in America. I don't know if we saw him in maybe the Japanese version of it, but that's a character that I want. So there's a lot of different characters that we'll be able to get because we're getting people like Cui. Maybe you remember Garlic Jr. Some of you, I'm sure, love the Garlic Jr., Salt and Pepper and all those guys. It'd be awesome if we got those releases, but we won't get those kinds of releases if they put out stuff like this and nobody buys. Now, this isn't my way of telling you you should buy. You shouldn't buy anything that you don't want to support. If you don't like these characters, if you don't like the way they look, if they are not, sufficient for you to spend your hard-earned money, don't support it. I 100% agree with you there. But just remember that, if this is something that you still think is cool, and maybe you wanted somebody else, maybe you wanted Nail, right? Maybe you wanted whoever it is else that you wanted instead. Janemba, whatever. In order for us to get to that point, in order for us to be able to get that at places like Target instead of Premium Bandai, be able to get, multiple characters coming out from, wouldn't it be nice if instead of just getting one guy here and one guy there, we got an entire release of 10 figures all for $40 at Target, and it was the entire, team of whatever from whatever movie, from whatever show is your favorite? That'd be really nice. The cool thing about Dragon Ball is that while all we ever see is Saiyans, we could say Namekians, and a few bad characters, if you actually watch the show, if you actually go back and watch the original show, there are so many alien races, and especially with the Frieza Force stuff, that's kind of where you really see like peak Dragon Ball. So it would be very, very nice for us to be able to get that kind of assortment of figures and characters. But again, it's only going to happen if you guys help support some of these more obscure figures. I honestly think that most people like Cui enough to buy him. They were just hoping obviously for somebody else, and they think that maybe this is some kind of placeholder, but I don't think so. I think this will be the reason why we're going to end up getting other characters, especially from the Namekian arc, right, that are, a little bit more obscure. Like I said, I'm pretty sure that all of the Namekian fighters that are killed, none of them are necessarily named, for the exception of Nail. I definitely want Nail, but if I can get a little army of Namekians as well, I'm down for that. And if we're able to get other characters, like for instance, we already have Bardock, we already have Turles. Both of them have teammates that I would love to purchase if they made them. Chances are, because you bought that Turles, now the rest of his team is basically, under the radar of Tamashii Nations, right? Because at the end of the day, they need to make money, right? And at the end of the day, if they're going to take risks on some of these smaller characters or some of these more obscure characters, or characters that they think, no one really cares about, right? They have to come out with other characters that might predate them, or other characters that might not matter. Like for instance, they might hit the Boo saga and go, okay, we're going to hit all of these characters at the very end, and none of these guys at the beginning we're going to even touch because they're too obscure, too little, no one really cares about them, you know, no one probably even remembers them, they just remember the big fights against Boo. But no, they might release some of those characters, especially because they'll go and look back and say, well, we started with, you know, Frieza, we started with bigger name characters and Piccolo and so on and so forth, but we kept pushing out smaller and smaller characters, but people just kept buying and buying and buying. So what are we going to do when we hit another saga? Same thing, we're going to come out with the big characters and then work our way down to more obscure characters, and you'll be able to have a real complete set of everybody that you might want from your favorite saga, whatever that might be. So I'm really hoping that this is going to be a sales success. I, for one, I'm going to buy it because, again, if, you know, it does flop and maybe, you know, this kind of could mark the end of Tamashii Nations, SH Figuarts kind of pushing more obscure characters, then, you know, I'm happy to at least have gotten this one guy. But again, if Tamashii Nations, if you're paying attention to this video, if you're watching it, this is something that I 100% will put my money behind. And I'm hoping that more people follow suit and that we are able to get as many characters as they're willing to put out, as long as they're good quality, well articulated, and of course give, you know, updates as they can to make the figures better and more worth our money. I think that that's a great business idea for the market as a whole. So let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Let me know what you guys think. Are you guys planning on buying either one of these? Was both of these, both the Vegeta and, you know, the Cui, a flop? And even if they are flops, do you like the idea of potentially getting Namekians? Do you like the idea of getting Nail or, you know, Beast Mode Zarbon? Like, are those characters that maybe you want more? That's fine. Go ahead and put that in the comment section down below. You never know when Tamashii Nations, you know, higher up could be looking at these comments, and if they see multiple people saying, hey, no, I love this, and I want Namekians, and I want this character, this could be a good place for, you know, a good platform to which you can voice that so that they know that. So they go, okay, you know, Cui did, you know, decent sales, you know, but people in the comment section of a lot of these videos are saying they want this guy and that guy, and you know what? We did, I think, good enough to make the investment for the new bug, or to make the investment for a new character. Even Cui has a secondary character in the show that looks exactly like him, but he has just a cape. And I know a lot of you are going to say something like, oh, that was just a filler episode or a filler moment. I don't care. If they showed it in the show, it's canon to me. And as far as I'm concerned, there's a secondary Cui character with a different radar and a cape. I want that guy. And it's probably not going to be that hard for Tamashii Nations to make that exact same character. Just take Cui, put a cape on him and a different color, you know, radar, you know, power sensor, and boom, call it a day. I'd buy that. So again, that's kind of the example I'm trying to give you guys, and I am hoping you guys understand that. So, you know, again, let me know what you guys think. Please like, please comment, please subscribe. Take this chance to let Tamashii Nations know what is it that you want and what are you hoping that they're going to do with this IP. But until then, I will see you guys on the next one. Deuces.